Okay, we're going to try factorising polynomials to find unknown coefficients. Let's try a few examples. First question, if x plus 3 is a factor of 2x to the power 4 plus 6x cubed plus px squared plus 4x minus 15, find the value of p. Okay, so if x plus 3 is a factor, that'll be minus 3 up at the side and set up my synthetic division, so that'll be coefficients of 2, 6, p, 4 and minus 15. Okay, so drop the 2 down, 2 times minus 3 is minus 6, 6 minus 6 is 0, 0 times minus 3 is 0, 0 plus p is p, p times minus 3 is minus 3p, minus 3p plus 4, well that can just be written as minus 3 plus 4, multiply that by minus 3, well minus 3p times minus 3 is 9p, and plus 4 times minus 3 is minus 12. We've got 9p minus 12 minus 15, so that will be 9p minus 27. Now the question said that since x plus 3 is a factor, so we know if that is a factor, which question states that it is, that the remainder is 0, therefore this 9p minus 27 must hold a 0 value, which means 9p is equal to 27 and p is equal to 3. Okay, let's try this one. Find p when 2x minus 1 rather, is a factor of 2x to the power 4 minus x cubed plus px minus 6. Okay, so if 2x minus 1 is a factor, then the number up at the side then would be 1/2. I've got coefficients of 2 minus 1. Remember that there is a 0x squared coefficient here. So that's 0, p, and minus 6. Okay, so I'm going to drop the 2 down. 2 times 1/2 is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0, 0 times 1/2 is 0, 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 times 1/2 is 0 again, 0 plus p is p, p times 1/2 is a 1/2p, and a 1/2p minus 6 is 1/2p minus 6, and it's a factor, so that holds a 0 value since the remainder is 0 if it's a factor. 1/2p equals 6 and p is equal to 12. Okay, next one. Find the values of p and q if x plus 2 and x minus 5 are both factors of x to the power 4 plus px squared plus qx minus 40. Okay, so let's first of all investigate for x plus 2. So that would be minus 2 up at the side. The coefficients then are 1. There is a 0x cubed coefficient. That's 0. P, q, and minus 40. Drop the 1 down. 1 times minus 2 is minus 2. Minus 2 plus 0 is minus 2. Minus 2 times minus 2 is 4. P plus 4 is, well, just p plus 4. P plus 4 times minus 2 is minus 2p minus 8. Minus 2p minus 8 plus q. So that's minus 2p plus q minus 8. We're multiplying that by minus 2, so let's just be careful. Minus 2p times minus 2 is plus 4p. Q times minus 2 is minus 2q, and minus 8 times minus 2 is plus 16. I've then got 4p minus 2q plus 16 minus 40. So that will be 4p minus 2q minus 24 is equal to 0. How do I know it's 0? Well, it's a 0 remainder because x plus 2 is a factor. Okay, now we also know that x minus 5 is a factor, so that would be 5 up at the side. Again, my coefficients are 1, 0, pq, and minus 40. Okay, drop the 1 down. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 plus 0 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 plus p, well, that's p plus 25. Multiply that by 5. And that will be 5p plus 125. 5p plus q plus 125. So that's 5p plus q plus 125. Multiply that by 5, and that will be 25p plus 5q plus 625. I've then got 25p plus 5q plus 625 minus 40, so that will be 25p plus 5q plus 585, and that's equal to 0 again, because x minus 5 is a factor, which means that this is a 0 value for the remainder. Therefore 25p plus 5q plus 585 must be equal to 0. Okay. Now I've got one equation with two unknowns and a second equation with two unknowns, so I can use simultaneous equations. So that then is going to be 4p minus 2q minus 24 is equal to 0. That's equation 1. And 25p plus 5q plus 585 is equal to 0, and that is equation 2. Okay, so let's put these across here to make it look a bit more familiar. So that's going to be 4p minus 2q is equal to 24, and 25p plus 5q is equal to minus 585. That's equation 2. Okay, I'm going to look to eliminate q's here. So this is National 5 skills and National 5 knowledge. So I'm going to scale that up to get to 10 and minus 10. So I'm going to multiply the first equation by 5 and multiply the second equation by 2. So every term in the first equation I'm going to multiply by 5, so that will be 20p minus 10q is equal to 120, and I'm going to call that equation 3. Second equation, I'm going to multiply everything by 2, so that will be 50p plus 10q is equal to minus 1170. I'm going to call that equation 4. Now remember, for simultaneous equations, if the signs are different, you add. If the signs are the same, you subtract. So the signs are different, so I'm going to add the equations. So add equations 3 and 4. 20p plus 50p is 70p. Minus 10q plus 10q will cancel out. And then 120 plus minus 1170, take your time, that will give you minus 1050. It's then p equals minus 1050 divided by 70, which is equal to minus 15. Okay, so I've got the value for p, which is minus 15, and I want to find q, so I'm going to just solve it into, substitute it rather into one of the equations, 1, 2, 3 or 4, it doesn't matter which one. So I'm going to look to put that into equation 1. So let's communicate that. I'm going to sub p equals minus 15 into equation 1. So where I see p, I'll replace it with minus 15. So that's 4 lots of minus 15. minus 2q is equal to 24. That's minus 60 minus 2q equals 24. Minus 2q is equal to 24 plus 60. So it's minus 2q is equal to 84. And q is equal to 84 divided by minus 2, which is minus 41. That's the final answer. Okay, let's try one more question. When x to the power 4 minus 3x cubed plus px minus 5 is divided by x minus 3, the remainder is 16. So this is a wee bit different. It's not a factor, it leaves a remainder of 16. The question then asks me to find p. Okay, so if it's divided by x minus 3, that tells me to put 3 up at the side. I've got coefficients of 1, minus 3. There is a 0 x squared coefficient, followed by p and minus 5. I'm going to drop the 1 down. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. 0 times 3 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 times 3 is 0. 0 plus p is p. P times 3 is 3p. 3p minus 5, well that's 3p minus 5 is equal to not 0 because it's not a factor, but 16, since we're told that the remainder is 16. So 3p minus 5 is equal to 16, 3p is equal to 21, and p is equal to 7.